All right, everybody, we're live. My name is Jordan Hawthorne. I'm joined by Will Goodwin, and we're talking a little bit of Vikings Bills, Sunday's game of the week that for some reason did not get flexed into Sunday Night Football. So it will be taking place along with 15 other games at noon. So I guess we'll see what's going to happen, and throughout the course of this little episode, you guys will get to see our opinions on everything. Will, I guess let's just dive headfirst into it. What are you looking at in this game? Like, how do you feel about it? Let's go that route. Lay down. Tell me about your mother. How do you feel? How are you feeling today?
Yeah, everything rides on Josh Allen playing, right? The Pro Bowl quarterback, many are talking about him as the MVP front runner and has his team in a position where, number one seed in the AFC if the season ended today. He is potentially not going to play. It's sort of a day-to-day situation, what we've heard from the Bills coaching staff. He did not practice today, Wednesday. That does not mean he won't play Sunday, but right now he's nursing a sore elbow. As far as we know, there's no ligament damage, but there's I think there's still more tests and things to be done on that. So the Bills naturally are treading lightly. They want to make sure that he's healthy. It is a big game, it is against a 7-win team and all that, but it is also only week 10. It's not against a conference opponent. So if you're the Bills, I would probably play this extremely cautious. And if he's ready to go on Sunday, great. But if not, they have a very capable backup. So I mean that's storyline number one is whether or not Josh Allen plays.
Yeah, and I think so it's a 17 game season, right? And that's part of what makes the NFL so great is that it does feel like every week really matters, especially for teams like Buffalo and Minnesota, where you're not talking about maybe making the playoffs. You're talking about like, hey, we want to have a bye and home field throughout the playoffs. But on the flip side of that, the Vikings are a non-conference opponent for Buffalo, which ranks very low on the tiebreakers list of things. I'm not saying that they are okay chalking this one up as we started Case Keenum and lost type of situation. But it's not in prime time, which I know that doesn't matter to like standings and stuff, but like it's a noon game. If you lose it, because Case Keenum starts, you still have a head-to-head over Kansas City. You still have a really good record. You only have 3 losses, and you still get to play. I guess I was gonna say you still get to play the AFC East, for the rest of the season. But apparently that's a problem for Buffalo because their 2 losses are to Miami and the Jets. So that's not exactly a badge that you get anymore. Is got to play 6 games against the AFC East. Now it's actually kind of a pretty tough challenge. So I think it'll be interesting. I really do. I think that everyone's trying to play the mind games of is he going to play? Is he not? Like I said, it's not a conference game. It's this, it's that. It's not this, it's not that. Whatever. I think if he feels and the doctors feel like you're not going to injure yourself more, and we will not put you in situations, and we're going to ask you not to put yourself into situations that will make your elbow get worse. I think they put him out there. I
Yeah.
don't. I think that if they think that hey, he could throw a ball. He could throw one up deep to Stephon Diggs, and there's a chance the elbow just, off the bone, complete tail. You're done for the season. If they think that's a possibility, he's going to miss time. And the question I want to pose to you before we get into other people other than Josh Allen. Do you want Josh Allen on Sunday? Do we have the signs out that we want Bama, but it's like we want Buffalo at 100%? Like, are we that program in the NFL?
I definitely want to see Josh Allen. Um, and that's not probably the tune that I would have sung in years past because I think in years past I'd be like, hey, any advantage, you'll take it, you run with it. I mean, heck, even even week 6 against Miami, actually I take that back. I wanted Tua to play. But in years past, I definitely would have been, hey, we'll take the backup. I don't care if it's an ugly win. We'll take a win. But I think where the Vikings are at this point is I said something like this the other day that I want to see what they can do against the NFL's best. You know, they've played what some would consider a weaker slate of quarterbacks, and even the second half of the season is a weaker slate of quarterbacks. And so there's not many chances to sort of see what you're made of against these elite or at least top tier quarterbacks. And I want to see what they're made of against Josh Allen. I mean, there's really nothing to lose when you go into a game like that where you're going to be picked to lose. You're going to go against, you know, a juggernaut in their place. It's a situation where you just get to learn a lot about the team. And I mean, being 7-1, not that you can just, you know, take losses and not care, but I'd just much rather see what they can do against him than against Case Keenum. And that's no slight to Case Keenum. I mean, even if he plays Sunday, there's no guarantee the Vikings win. He's a very competent backup. I mean, we should know.
Right.
So, but yes, I'd rather see Josh Allen. How about you?
Yeah, I also want to see Josh Allen, and I think I can, like, I don't want to say quantify, but to me, in years past, I was like, the Vikings, they're a solid, they're an average team. We need help to get into the playoffs. Every advantage we can get, we're going to scrape our way in, and then hope that we can just get a little hot streak together, and then, you know, get one of those, like the Giants, how they won their Super Bowls with Eli Manning. They weren't pummeling people. They scraped their way into the playoffs and then got hot with the, you know, the quarterback started playing electric, yada, yada. And then they go and they win the Super Bowl 2 times. So I kind of, that's been my mentality. I don't know if we're still that team, because I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, other than Miami, who was playing a backup, have the Vikings beaten a team that is over 500, like, at this point in the season? Like, Washington was 500 when we beat them, and we lost to Philly. Green Bay looks terrible. The division looks bad. Like, all of the division games do not look like badges of honor by any sense. So I don't know what this team is. I don't know if I should puff my chest. I don't know if I should be saying Super Bowl. Oh, if I should be saying that, you know, hey, we need some things to bounce our way, like a lot of things to bounce our way. Yeah. So if Allen plays, I think it's a good measuring stick. If we get, you know, boat raced by 35 points, then hey, okay, well, we need some things to go our way, and we need to change some things, and everything is not as it seems. If we win, okay, yeah, this is a real football team. And I think if we win either way, this is a real football team. And I think, honestly, even a close loss will convince a lot of people, like, the Vikings are a very good football team. They just, you know, they don't blow people out. It's just not how they're constructed. So,
well, and let's just put it this way. I was just gonna say, regardless of who plays quarterback, the Bills are going to be favored on Sunday.
Yeah.
So just think about it that way. Like,
right now, the line at my sports book, which is actually in Indiana, it's 4.5 points, which is actually surprising because it opened at 7.5, and I don't think so many bets have come in that it's dropped at 3 points. I think it's is he gonna play? Is Josh Allen gonna play? Here's the real question. I know, you know, Josh Allen's impotent, yada yada. Who has more yards on Sunday, Stephon Diggs or Justin Jefferson?
Justin Jefferson.
Oh, all right. Go ahead. Let's explain yourself.
So, Justin Jefferson is, I think it's. I mean, many will debate it, especially, you know, crabby Packers fans or Bills fans, but Justin Jefferson's the better receiver. And there's taking nothing away from Stephon Diggs, but Justin Jefferson has the ability to change a game. Sometimes it feels like Stephon Diggs is the product of Josh Allen's cannon of an arm. And that is belittling him probably too much, in the sense of, you know, like, he's an outstanding player. He gets behind people and all that, but I think what I've seen now from Jefferson now for the last number of weeks is an ability to impact the game and to dominate the game while us fans or people watching are feeling like he's being shut down. like I don't think there are many people who looked at that Washington game outside of, maybe that first drive and thought, oh man, Jefferson's just, dominating the game. He ended with 115 yards and a touchdown. The New Orleans game, I had some people talking to me like, man, I don't know. It seems like Jefferson was a little bit, under the radar. He ended that game with 150-ish yards. I think the game before the Arizona game, everyone was saying, oh, they shut down Jefferson. He had 98 yards. So he's a guy who can impact the game while it feels like you're putting the clamps on him. And also just the other thing is he's Kirk's favorite target. He's going to get targets. We saw the last couple of weeks, he's going to get 50-50 balls. And so, whereas I feel like Gabe Davis is almost more of a 1A to Stephon Diggs, the Vikings don't have a 1A. And so it's Jefferson and then it's Hawkinson is probably how I would rate in terms of, targets
I think that's fair.
and favorites 1-2. It's not 1A, 1B or anything like that. So I think that's just the way I see it. I haven't, dug into Diggs stats or anything like that, but I think just off the cuff here, I think it's going to be Jefferson will have a higher amount of yards, especially if Keenum plays.
Yeah.
Allen loves the deep shot to Diggs. So if Allen plays, maybe it's a little different, but I'd say Jefferson.
I think it's a toss up, honestly, because if I was ranking wide receivers, I think Jefferson and Diggs are within a spot or two of each other, and I think it flip flops just about every week. We're not gonna like get into this. I'm not gonna get into like a whole wide receiver ranking because like it's not what the show's about. But I do think that Jefferson, to me, he shows that like he is the better receiver, but it feels like Stephon Diggs has like a sixth or seventh gear, if that makes sense. Like it feels like in big moments, Stephon Diggs is very excited to go out there and make a play, and it seems like more times than not he goes out there and makes that play. And maybe it's just because Jefferson kind of like, whether it's the last drive of the game when he's catching a ball that puts us in a position to go win, oh, it's the first touchdown of the day. It's the same like catch down, that celebration. Like and it's he has like he's so level headed that maybe I just don't see him getting, like Stephon Diggs is like John with Jair Alexander on Sunday Night Football like a couple weeks ago, and I can think of many times where he scores a touchdown in Lambeau for the Vikings and he goes right to a fan that's been jawing at him all game and like just points him out and starts, smack talking with him, and like maybe it's just because Jefferson doesn't show as much emotion. That's why I'm a little bit, I miss Diggs a lot. Like I miss it. I miss his personality. But then like he's posting cryptic stuff on Twitter this week about like, he said like praise be or something like that. And so it's like, I don't really miss him that much. Like I don't miss, him scrubbing his Instagram and us being like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like I like Jefferson's consistency, I guess. But
Yeah,
I think
like
that's
Jefferson's. I'm not too concerned with money comments and those things.
Yes, I think I mean, he's going to get paid. I think he knows he's going to get paid. But I do like that he says, I'm not concerned with money. By the way, I'm the best receiver in football. Just so everyone knows, I am the best in football. Like, I think that's kind of him hinting at, I'd like to be paid like the best in football. But I think that is something that Vikings fans especially are going to be keying in on, is every time Diggs catches a ball, it's going to be a little just dagger, a little prick to the heart. And every time Jefferson catches the ball, you're going to have people blow. God forbid he catches like a 75-yard touchdown in this game, because my Twitter account will like implode and delete my iPhone, because like so many Vikings fans will be like, we won the trade, we did it, we won the trade, it's us, he's him, blah blah blah, like whatever. But let's talk about what the Vikings, let's assume Allen plays, okay, just for the sake of this. And so if he doesn't on Sunday, which I think is going to be a game time decision, well, this is null and void. But if Allen plays, what do you think the defense needs to do to stop him? Oh, is there any stopping him, I guess, is the secondary part?
I think a big thing with the Bills is, so they don't run the ball very often. The Bills and the Vikings, actually, neither of them run the ball very often when you look at it statistically. The Bills have actually technically ran the ball more, but that's just because Josh Allen runs a lot. He's their leading rusher. So if he plays, he'll get his attempts, you would assume, unless his coaching staff is very, adamant. We don't want you to run. We don't want you to injure yourself. Only run when it's absolutely necessary, kind of thing. I mean, you watch Buffalo. Sometimes they call runs for him. They do like quarterback powers and things that are just a little bit strange. But hey, it works. I think the concern, right, would be injuries. But I think the thing that I wanted to point to was when they do run the ball with their backs, and Isaiah McKenzie, the wide receiver, they'll do some jet sweeps with him. I think he even comes out of the backfield from time to time. They have to limit the effectiveness of those runs because they have an explosive offensive passing attack. In terms of yards, I think they are third. Third in passing yards, third in points. So very explosive offense, but if you can limit their running, it makes them one-dimensional. It makes them more predictable. And then the other thing that I would want to hint on is Josh Allen is very turnover prone. It's not necessarily talked about because he's flashy, he's exciting, and they win most of their games. So even if he does throw 2 interceptions, you don't really care. Like week 1, they blew out the Rams. He had 2 interceptions, but it didn't matter. So those couple things force them to only throw. It's weird because that's their strength, but if they can have a competent run game and an explosive pass game, the Vikings are going to be in it for a long day.
Yeah.
Because if they're giving up chunks on the ground and they're getting beat over the top with the pass game, it's going to be a very, very long day. So those couple things, and then be opportunistic when Josh Allen will inevitably probably make at least 1 or 2 head scratching plays. You have to take advantage of it. So those are the couple things that I point to that the Vikings defense and let me note, they have shown the ability to do those things, stopping the run and turning the ball over. So in some ways it's actually a decent matchup for the Vikings. Now, again, the passing offense for the Bills is extraordinary, so they could wipe everything else out if they're just explosive all day.
If I may throw my hat into the ring, it's time for the Ed Donatel shell defense. It is time for the prevent. It's time for the 10 yards off. This is what we've been practicing, practicing for. Like, let's get it out there. We're playing off coverage. We're playing 3 safeties back. We're not getting beat over the top. Because I think the way that you stop these flashy, highlight ESPN top 10 offenses is you don't let them throw the deep ball. And you say, kill us with 1,000 paper. If you want to throw the ball underneath all game long and 10 play, 12 play drive all the way down the field, go ahead. But quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and like Josh Allen, they like throwing the ball deep. They like making the big play. It's part of what makes them great. But I think you've seen it with the Chiefs, a lot. They kind of, in the middle of the season, the last couple of years, don't look good. And everyone says, oh, they'll figure it out. Teams are running cover 2 on them, and that suddenly has figured them out because, Pat Mahomes wants to chuck it 75 yards down the field, and he can't do that. Do the same thing to Josh Allen. Make him have pinpoint precision on every pass, underneath stuff, and you obviously, you got to do the fundamentals if you want to beat a team like Buffalo. You have to tackle well. You have to, stop the run. You have to make them one-dimensional. And I think the crucial part of it is we have to, as an offense, take advantage of opportunities given to us. If they miss a field goal, we have to get points. We have to flip those. We have to get those swings when they're presented. And so capitalizing on missed field goals, because I think that's just as bad as a fumble, a missed field goal, a fumble or a pick, you have to go get points. And even on drives where they didn't turn it over, you still have to go get, we're going to have to put up points in this game. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my score prediction really quickly. And then I'll pass it off to you for final thoughts and, getting us out of here and everything. Yep. But I actually have the Vikings winning this one 38-24. And let me big old asterisks. It doesn't matter who the starter is. It does not. I said on Monday, after the show, peel back the curtain, I was going to pick the Bills because, whatever. Tuesday, I woke up feeling some kind of way. And what a statement this would be. Maybe I'm doing this just because I'm thinking of how good it would feel next Monday to wake up after beating the Buffalo Bills by 2 possessions. But I'm not saying this is a blowout game. I know it's 2 possessions. I'm saying this is probably a game, if it happens, the Vikings are up by 7. They get the ball back. They have a 6-minute touchdown drive, and Buffalo has to, throw a Hail Mary at the end to even try and do something. Like, I think that it's a we go up 2 scores late type of situation, but 38-24. And I think that the Vikings offense has to play that well, and the defense is going to also have to play that well in order to beat this team if Josh Allen plays. If Case Keenum plays, this seems a lot more realistic to me because I do think the Vikings are very amped up for this game. I think that this isn't being talked about. Like, Stephon Diggs kind of forced his way out of Minnesota because of Kirk Cousins. I think Cousins knows that, and I don't know what this show is going to call him. My favorite nickname for him so far has been Kirk Thuggins, but I think he's going to notice, like, hey, Stephon, you could have been in this offense with Kevin O'Connell, me dropping dimes and wearing chains and doing all that. So give me the Vikings 38-24. This is bad. Hang on. No, last week I picked Danielle Hunter for my game ball, so I have the offense. See, I always forget, but then I remember. I'm going to say Kirk Cousins is getting the game ball because if we beat this team, then it's because of Kirk Cousins. And if we lose to them, it's not necessarily because of Kirk Cousins. I'm healing. I'm getting better. I've been, in my rehabilitation. I've gotten my 2-month no Kirk Cousins hate chip, and I'm very proud. Will is my sponsor for that. But Kirk Cousins is getting the game ball. I'll do my final thoughts lightning fast. Follow the show on Twitter at LTB Vikings. Follow Will on Twitter at Will Bad Lose, GOAT Twitter handle. Shop Unified Athletic Wear. And everybody have a fun, safe weekend. And remember that, if we lose, we lost to one of the best teams in football. And I think I'm frozen, which is an issue with my camera. But that's about all I got. So I'll pass it off to Will for his last bit.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think you're frozen in the most, dignifying position with your mouth open.
Oh, absolutely.
About to make a hilarious take. So, yeah, just last couple things for me. My final thoughts are kind of going to be baked into my score predictions. So, I think, at the beginning of the show, I talked about Stephon Diggs versus Justin Jefferson, if that's even a rivalry, and how I think Jefferson's going to have the bigger day. What definitely could change that is the fact that the Bills have an outstanding defense. They're nothing to sneeze at. They're ball hawks. They take the ball away. They have 8 interceptions on the season, I believe, something like that. So they are all over the place. Or excuse me, I think the 8 interceptions are Bills. 11 interceptions. The Bills defense has taken 11 interceptions from the opposing offenses, and so they're going to be all over the field. And so it's going to be a challenge for sure. Whether that's a challenge for Jefferson getting open, whether that's a challenge for Cousins being able to find the open guys, it's going to be a difficult day for the Vikings offense. That doesn't mean that they won't score. That doesn't mean that they won't put up the big numbers that Jordan is calling for here. But they're going to have to play a really efficient, really buttoned up game in order to win this game against this defense, regardless of who plays quarterback. And so the other thing, too, that I just wanted to point to is the Bills defense in terms of red zone. They are one of the best in terms of stopping teams scoring in the red zone. So the Vikings, on the other hand, have the 7th best red zone offense. And so that red zone offense is going to have to show up in this game because when they get down inside the 20, they're going to have to punch in touchdowns. So otherwise, you could end up with a, 23-point game and you lose, 32-23 or something like that. So, but I think this is going to be a game that the Vikings will, unfortunately, I think the Vikings will struggle to move the ball consistently against this really good defense. It's now granted, last week they had their struggles. They came back at the end, got the victory, and I think just I'm too hesitant to say that this team can all of the sudden, flip that switch, get out of these lulls offensively and these struggles offensively and, put up a big game on offense against one of the best defenses in the league. So I think Buffalo wins 31-20. I think it'll be competitive, but I also think that it's going to always feel like we're a little bit out of striking distance, because of those things I said about the defense. We've already talked about the Bills' explosive offense. So, um, on the flip side, if and I know we're not going to show this score, but if Allen doesn't play, I think the Vikings would win a close game, 27-24. Very similar scoring, total points compared to my other score. Basically, what that boils down to for me is that if Allen plays, the Vikings are going to have fewer opportunities to score because Allen's going to be on the field longer. They're going to score more points. And if Case Keenum plays, the Vikings are going to be able to get more stops, get the ball back, have another opportunity to score a touchdown. So I think it'll be a competitive game. But I think the Vikings will eventually just kind of get outlasted by a very stout team on the road. Now, if the Vikings are to win this game, there's going to have to be significant contributions from, as I mentioned before, our defense in being opportunistic. And so I'm going to make sort of a bold prediction here and say that a Caleb Evans is going to be game ball for the defense. It's looking like Cam Dantzler probably will not play. We're not certain of that yet, but it's trending towards a Caleb Evans playing on Sunday, probably getting the start opposite Patrick Peterson. He played great on Sunday for about 2-ish quarters. He's going to have to play great again against this awesome Bills defense. But what's going to have to happen for Caleb to get this game ball, as I'm predicting, is he's going to have to take advantage of one of those Josh Allen errant throws. And you look at a lot of these Allen interceptions, it's these sort of like flick of the wrist underneath throws where he's kind of trying to either he doesn't see a corner or a safety crossing in front. He's being a little careless with the football. And Caleb showed on Sunday that he can ride receivers and stay in their back pocket and put himself into position to make those plays. So I think Caleb's going to come up with an interception in this game. And if the Vikings win, I think he's going to get a game ball. So
I love it. I just want to say one last thing.
Yeah.
And again, sorry for the video issues that just went on, but Caleb Evans was a 5th round pick. Am I correct
4th.
there? Was he a 4th round pick? And Diggs was a 5th, wasn't he? Because I was going to say, like, maybe we get some 5th round pick on 5th round pick action, but that doesn't quite work if a Caleb was a 4th round pick. So never mind, I'll shut up. But
no, it's exciting, and hopefully for the Vikings, Caleb doesn't get exposed by Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis or anything like that. But I think it's going to be it's a super exciting opportunity for a young corner to get in there. And so that's all I got. I think it's going to be a fun weekend, regardless of who plays quarterback for the Bills. Big opportunity for the Vikings. Win, lose, or draw in this one. I think we'll learn a lot about this team, and I think it'll be mostly positive things. You can always learn from mistakes and things. So big opportunity for a team that's trending in the right direction. So that's all we got. Jordan will be back on Monday. I am out next week. But until Monday, this is Load the Box signing off. Skol, y'all.